I'm excited.
Welcome to season 4 of Outstanding Women Leaders, Witty and Wise Conversations. I'm your host, Katie L. Leeds, founder and chief owl at Outstanding Women Leaders, Owl Professional Coaching and Podcast, an organization dedicated to empowering women in leadership, relationships, and life. Owl is on a mission to host 100 million witty and wise conversations that inspire you, disrupt the way you think, and stir your soul into aligned action. That inspiration begins with a set of rules to guide our conversation today. Nobody gets to be wrong. Nobody gets to be right. Everybody gets to be vulnerable. And my favorite, everything is included. We do not edit here. This conversation is exactly what it needs to be in this moment in time. We asked our guests to join us via video to allow us to create authentic connection. Eyes are the window to the soul. You will be seen. You will be heard. There is space for you here. When this conversation comes to a close, I will ask our guests 3 questions. If you've tuned in before, you know what they are. If you haven't, you don't want to miss them. But enough about me. Today, I'm excited to welcome Outstanding Women Leader, Aya Madisa.
Thank you.
Also known by her government name, Deborah Ingram. She is the curator of DAI, pronounced Day Wellness, LLC. She is also a widow, 37-year-old with 1 teenage son. She's a 5'1" to the core for human design. She's an insurance producer, actress, model, and newly venturing into podcasting, becoming an author, and creating a foundation that will further help her family, friends, and community in healing while seeking and acquiring her own knowledge. Her life goal through the many projects she's involved in is to help create wealth through health, but understanding how to deal through life changes and making lifestyle decisions that will benefit their mind, body, and soul. My favorite part about our guest today is that I met her where I meet all of my favorite people in a park. I started my first business in a park.
That makes so much sense. I can definitely sense that from you.
Yeah, my first gym. My gym was in the park. And I met you in a park and we had a sound bath together. And at the end, I felt like I needed to just ask you what your birth information was.
You're so friendly that you read people's minds because they need to know you as well. It's a
Mm.
reason.
Well, as I look at our energy, I know why we were drawn into each other. And you have such a powerful story. I don't even know where to begin. First of all, just love that you have perfected the gate of the game player, which we both have, which is you play the game with different names. I must know because as a kid, I always wanted a different name as well. And you said that before we hopped on, and I was like, oh my goodness. Tell me about how you play this game of the name change.
So, it's such a deep story, but long story short, I've had a nickname since I was a little girl. And the reason I have this nickname, so I was told, is that I was a little premature child and they wanted to name me Tiny, but I have a cousin whose nickname is Tiny. So I didn't get Tiny. I got Mickey. So I went by Mickey for a very long time. I knew my real name, which is Deborah, but I was like, that's just so old timey. Like, I'm not a Deborah. I look more like a Mickey. If you see my cheeks, see? So I had my own rules. This is what you'll call me. And if you did call me Deborah, it was like, what? I have to be professional. Excuse me? So that made me kind of straighten up to know that I was in a professional capacity. So when I went into college, I decided to go by Deborah because, well, I was growing into my own, young womanhood and to learn how to be myself. And so that was how those name changes come about. Now, Aya is a name I got from dancing. I do different forms of dance now, and I always have danced and done gymnastics and what have you. But this is from West African dance, and this was a name given to me, and it meant persistence and resilience.
Mm. I love that.
Thank you.
So what you're telling me is I should stop calling you Deborah because you introduced yourself to me with your professional name.
Maybe because we are way past that point at
And
this
what's hilarious is that I told Meg, the woman hosting the class that we met at, that your name is Deborah. And she's like, no, it's not.
I love to hear these confusing stories because people are like, I promise you, I was just telling a longtime friend this morning, I have people I've known most of my life who did not know my name was Deborah. So this went on for a very long time.
I love that. So at least I pulled the truth right out of you the first time I met you.
I was being honest.
Is your name really
Yeah,
not Deborah? Maybe I didn't pull the truth out. I have follow-up questions.
come. I'm ready to talk about all of those personalities, which I tell all of my clients to embrace. Whoever or whatever it is that you are that makes you you unique, quirky, weird, strange, be that. Embrace it and let it walk you through your journey.
Yeah. As someone who spent a long time running away and trying to mask their quirkiness and then embracing it through a podcast in 2020 where my co-host just called me quirky. But I don't know that everyone else can always really embrace the quirks. Like eventually the quirks were not so fun anymore, perhaps. You got to find the right people.
Right.
And
Find
you
your people.
are such a
Do that.
beautiful living example of that. When I think of myself being quirky, I'm like, you would be the first person to come to mind. I'm like, man, I think I met my match in this 5-1.
You're my person.
It's the Manny Jen in you. You just do it a little bit faster and you complete me in that throat gate that really lights me up. So the gate of the game player, oftentimes there's struggle when we play the game, right? When we play the game with our whole heart, it can be,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And you've played this game of life with your whole heart and you're missing part of it.
Most certainly every day. Of course, as a widow, I feel like I'm missing my best friend and heir. And if you have never met anyone that's young and gone through grief in this way, and I mean like sudden grief, it's a shock to the system. And I am still going through that shock. It's been 2.5 years since my husband passed, but still feels like yesterday. And I just have to be gentle with myself and my son. And so that's the goal, to express myself or, uh, do what I need to protect my feelings.
Yeah, I was coaching a client this year who messaged me and just said it's too sad to talk about. I am sorry, I have to cancel. And he suddenly lost his wife. When there are a lot of people out there that are grieving, what are you learning about yourself in this process?
This is going to sound really either cliche or weird, but I'm very spiritual, as I tell people. Maybe not super religious, but very spiritual. So I feel like my husband was my soulmate, and he taught me a lot. He was 12 years my senior, so he taught me more than my fair share of what life could be. And so what I'm learning now is it's okay to grow and shed as you do so.
Mm. And does your growth and shredding involve names? Will we see more alter egos in your lifetime?
Oh, I have 6 personalities. I'm open to tell anyone that because I'm a Sagittarius and we're fiery anyway, one of the fire signs in the zodiac. And we don't know how not to spark that flame whenever we walk into a room or heard, on the phone or yeah, it's weird. But that's just my personality. And so I have 3 more names that I have to go with. But we will not discuss 2 of them. 2 of those people don't get to exist. But yeah. But they're contrary each of my quirky personalities. I'm just saying.
I love this expression. You're a manifesting generator and you're a heretic investigator. I love this expression that you use with this costume. that you've been given. That's kind of how we describe the aura that we get. And Manny Gens usually have at least their hands in seven things that they're doing. So you have it in personalities and businesses. How do you grow and shed and grieve and also build a company?
I know that what I'm building is for not only for the honoring my husband's legacy, but what we were intending to build together for our community. I am from East Knoxville, and a lot of times, if you're not from Knoxville at all, you don't understand the dynamic of how the BIPOC community are kind of in one area of town, and we don't have a lot of access to, I guess, equitable diversity. So I want to make sure that what I'm building is going to build that, as well as healing through any generational trauma, anything current type of trauma, any lack of financial understanding, lack of healing or coping mechanisms that I'm now learning through my journey of grief and healing as well.
Mm.
And my husband embraced everything that I'm doing, to the point he gave me the she shed to start doing yoga, or doing virtual yoga, just to teach what we had learned through our allergy journey as far as my family goes. I don't have food allergies, but my son and my husband had severe food allergies. So I've managed their diets and activity, and there were just different things that we incorporated in our family that helped our overall. So that's my goal, to help my community to understand we have options to fix ourselves and heal ourselves and be the best we can be.
Mm. Yeah, I love your, I think of my cousin, he lost his wife to COVID, and so young age as well. And he just grows a beautiful garden. And, the way that you allow your community and your hands to heal you is just it just seems so similar to you and how you're growing this community as well, and pouring that, grief into something. It's very beautiful. And the community has recognized it because you have won a grant to help support your business. Tell me all about that. All I got to see was on social media as it was happening.
So, first of all, I knew I was entering it, but I didn't know I was entering it. I thought I was actually entering a different contest. So I seen that I go through this pitch contest, and I'm like, what? It was called the Crown Pitch Contest, and it was sponsored by the Women, which is an organization ran by African American women leaders who help to, I guess, get micro loans or business loans out to the community of female entrepreneurs in Knoxville. And strange enough, all of this happened in the weekend of Juneteenth, which was June 19th. And the significance in that was the weekend of Father's Day weekend, if I'm not mistaken, and also the weekend following my husband's passing. So my son, which he's the strongest kid I know, probably encouraged me the most to even try to do this competition. So it was 4 other professionals who are entrepreneurs who had businesses such as Women's Gun Club. I believe it was a film or production company, as well as I guess, a collective art feature that she was dreaming of. Those young ladies were wonderful. I ended up winning second place, which there was not supposed to even be a second place. So I was grateful to win $2,500. And that is for me to trademark my business, so I can kind of build a business model for young ladies and men in our community to build wellness facilities in similar aspects that will help our community grow as well.
Mm-hmm. I love that. And I love that we got to soar in together and I get to support your business in any way possible. I've already got to get so far out of my comfort zone hosting an event there. And I look forward to being able to see more of you and support more of you. Such a powerful story, so much advice, so much wisdom that you have. What wisdom do we have for our audience today?
Um, always hang around the people who've done it and been here longest. Meaning, as a young girl, I hung around my mom and her friends are much older than she was. And my mom is just now turning 69, so that'll tell you the age difference. And I I was groomed to have the wisdom that I have because of the women that were around me and the elders that were around me, and even especially my family, the matriarchs of my family that pour into me. So uh, listen to the wisdom. You're never too old to learn, and keep walking in your destiny.
Hmm. And your destiny, where is that leading you with all of the things that you have your hands in? What did I mention over here? We've got modeling, acting, insurance, and this
It's so,
wellness center.
it's so much. um, my son is about to turn 16, so he's my birthday present. He's born 4 days after my birthday. And I'm trying to teach him about creating financial wealth and literacy amongst not only himself, uh, but his family somewhere in the future, and those he loves. Um, Building community from a different aspect, I guess you can say. And honestly, that's kind of how I grew up because my grandparents were really, well known in the community and supported people who, did or did not have something that they either knew about or needed to know about. My grandparents were those people who always were going to feed into that. So I just want to be like them and encourage my family to grow that way. Especially my son. He's a little stubborn because he's a teenager right now. So that's Rocky.
Mm. What's your superpower?
Are you ready?
Mhm.
I'm a corn.
You're a
I'm gonna
what?
break that. A llama corn. I'm from the universe. I am of the universe, and I shit glitter, and I spit knowledge everywhere. So I'm a llama corn, a llama and a unicorn, just mashed up in one. I'm one of those mystical creatures that you're like, this is real. That's me.
What's your purpose?
To build for others, well-being. It's not for me. I'm now realizing the world does not revolve around me. And so to build for others so that they can see the greatness in themselves.
What's next for you?
Hmm. Celebrate my 38th rotation around the sun. Um, and keep climbing. My mountains aren't done. So I'm in the midst of writing a book about the love story that was me and my husband. That's really tough, very emotional, but we love music. So just to let you know, the chapters will be named after different songs that we love to share or cut up to or dance in the middle of the grocery store too.
Yeah, that's one of the things that we really have in common. My book that I'm writing, there is a theme song for every wound, and
Yes,
I'm offering other songs along the way that have meant something to me while healing those wounds.
absolutely.
Mm.
And listening to those things like all the music, like I said, that me and my husband listen to, Journey's "Don't Stop Believing," or uh, it kicks up the energy in me, especially when I'm having a very sad training day.
Yeah, it's
Gratitude.
like to put Pandora on and see what the universe has for me.
Exactly.
Everyone always laughs at me. They're like, "You're still on Pandora?" I'm like, "I like the algorithm."
It felt what I was pushing out into the universe that day.
Always, always.
Yeah.
There's a particular song that when it came on, it hit me in a way that made me think of my mom. And it's not a song that we had together, and it just hit me differently. And there was other times that song come on and it hasn't hit me that way. And every time it
Mm-hmm.
does, it's a surprise. So now I guess that's me and my dead mom's song because I think of her when it comes on. But
And guess you probably feel her the most at that moment. So, and I'm learning those
yeah,
moments too. So I get it.
yeah. My favorite thing that we're going to talk about in our bonus episode is my purpose in relationships is there my partner for that not partner but it's in the root. It connects to your emotional center and this happens to be your attractor line. So my purpose in relationships and your attractor line right now are in an emotional dance together. And we're going to talk about that in our bonus episode. So head over to our bonus episode and make sure you tune into that. Aya, where can we find you? How do people?
My website, which is Day Wellness, DAI wellness.com. You can book your classes there, find different merchandise there, services, as well as events that might be coming up. And I'm on Facebook under the same name, Day Wellness. And of course, if you can't find me there, you can always look at me under Aya. I'm not going to let you or know my last name unless you tune into this podcast.
Mm.
And or log into Facebook and Instagram and find me that way.
And I always give our guests the last word. So whatever you'd like to share.
Learn how to love and move forward. Don't have any regrets. Don't be remorseful, because if you do it the right way the first time, you won't have anything to look back in hindsight and think about again.